It was a weapon born of desperation, a brutal flying machine that defied conventional aviation logic. It wasn't fast, it wasn't elegant, but it was unstoppable. The Germans called it the Black Death, a terrifying harbinger of destruction. To the Red Army, it was the flying tank, their most vital asset in the savage struggle on the Eastern Front. With over 36,000 units produced, it became the most manufactured combat aircraft in history, an aerial juggernaut that Joseph Stalin himself declared was as essential to the Red Army as air and bread. By the end of this documentary, you will not only understand how this deadly flying fortress was conceived and thrust into the crucible of World War II, but you'll uncover the untold stories of the brave men and women who piloted it, the catastrophic losses they endured, and the miraculous impact they had on the destiny of nations. You will discover how a seemingly crude and vulnerable aircraft became an enduring symbol of Soviet resilience, changing the face of ground warfare forever. This is the story of the IL-2 Sturmovik, the flying tank that ripped apart the Wehrmacht. How did a design born of sheer necessity, a machine often dismissed as primitive, become such a legendary, unstoppable, and utterly crucial instrument of victory for the Soviet Union? The early 20th century saw aviation evolve at a blistering pace, but the doctrine of close air support, of dedicated aircraft working hand in glove with ground troops, remained largely undefined. Conventional wisdom often favored bombers striking strategic targets or nimble fighters battling for air superiority. Yet, the brutal realities of conflicts like the Spanish Civil War and the border clashes with Japan in the late 1930s revealed a glaring gap. Infantry and tanks, locked in savage combat, desperately needed aerial firepower that could obliterate enemy strongpoints, silence artillery, and shatter armored thrusts. The Soviet Union, with its vast landmass and emphasis on massed ground offensives, understood this need acutely. They envisioned a flying infantryman, an armored aerial weapon capable of surviving the hellish ground fire of the modern battlefield. This wasn't merely about dropping bombs, it was about delivering punishing, concentrated firepower directly onto the enemy. Enter Sergei Ilyushin, a visionary aircraft designer who, in 1938, began work on a concept that would redefine close air support. He dared to challenge traditional aircraft construction. Instead of simply adding armor plates to a conventional airframe, Ilyushin proposed something radical. The armor itself would be an integral, load-bearing part of the aircraft structure. This innovative bathtub concept would encase the engine, cockpit, and vital systems in a continuous shell of hardened steel, protecting the pilot and the beating heart of the machine from small arms fire and flak. His initial prototype, the TCB-55, first flew in October 1939. It was a two-seater, but the early Mikulin AM-35 engine simply wasn't powerful enough for the heavy armored design, impacting performance significantly. Responding to these critical shortcomings, Ilyushin redesigned it into a lighter, single-seat version, the TCB-57, optimizing it for low-altitude operations with the new AM-38 engine. This single-seater prototype made its maiden flight in October 1940 and, after rapid state acceptance trials, entered mass production in March 1941, just months before the German invasion. It was officially designated the IL-2. The Sturmovik, a Russian term for a ground attack aircraft, quickly became synonymous with this unyielding machine. Music intensifies with a sense of impending doom. The IL-2 was a brute, built for business. Its initial armament was formidable: 2 wing-mounted 20mm Shavak cannons and 2 7.62mm Shakas machine guns, capable of spewing a torrent of lead. It could also carry a deadly payload of up to 400 kilograms of bombs or 8 RS-80 rockets under its wings, making it a terrifying sight for any ground target. The armor, ranging from 5 to 12 millimeters thick, transformed the forward fuselage into a virtual flying tank, a steel coffin for its pilot, yet a shield against the inferno of ground battle. Then came June 22, 1941, Operation Barbarossa. Nazi Germany launched a cataclysmic invasion of the Soviet Union, unleashing the most brutal conflict in human history. The Red Army, caught largely unprepared, reeled under the shock. The nascent Soviet Air Force, the VVS, possessed only a mere 249 IL-2s at the war's outset, with only a fraction of those actually at the front lines, and many pilots barely familiar with their new mount. It was a baptism of fire, a bloody trial and error period that saw staggering losses. Early tactics were often desperate and ineffective. Single-seat Sturmoviks, flying low and often unescorted, were hopelessly vulnerable to attacks from swift German fighters like the Messerschmitt Bf-109 and Focke-Wulf FW-190, which could easily exploit the unprotected rear fuselage. Pilot complaints poured in, one even writing directly to Stalin, pleading for a rear gunner to defend against the relentless German fighters. The main shortcoming, the pilot stated, is that it is absolutely unprotected against hostile fighters attacking from behind. Consider the harrowing account of Vasily Emelianenko leading an IL-2 flight against a German airfield in Ukraine in June 1942. Flying dangerously low through a ravine to evade detection, his plane was suddenly ripped by ground fire as he initiated his attack. A gaping hole appeared in his right wing. Yet, through the deafening roar and violent jolting, he straightened his craft, unleashed a salvo of rockets, and sprayed machine gun fire into the parked German bombers, watching them erupt in flames. His engine hit, oil pressure plummeting. He nursed his crippled Ilyushin towards Soviet lines, skimming the earth, every turn of the propeller a prayer against the inevitable. Miraculously, he crash-landed, only to endure further machine gun bursts from advancing German soldiers before a narrow escape. Then there was Senior Lieutenant Anna Yegorova, one of the most remarkable Sturmovik pilots. She flew an astonishing 243 missions, enduring unimaginable dangers, earning the title Hero of the Soviet Union. Her story, and countless others, exemplify the raw courage and unflinching resolve that fueled the Sturmovik's legend. These pilots knew their missions were often suicidal, yet they pressed on, understanding the critical importance of their deadly cargo. After the war, the IL-2 and its successor, the improved IL-10, continued to serve with various Soviet-aligned nations, a symbol of brute force and undeniable effectiveness. The sheer scale of its production, over 36,000 IL-2s and over 42,000 combined with the IL-10, means that few aircraft have shaped military history as profoundly. The IL-2 Sturmovik stands as a testament to ingenuity born of necessity, to unyielding industrial might, and to the extraordinary bravery of those who flew it into the hellish skies of the Eastern Front. It was a crude instrument by some measures, a flying beast by others, but for the Red Army, it was their guardian angel, their iron fist from the sky. If you've been captivated by the story of this legendary aircraft and the incredible sacrifices made during World War II, please hit that like button, subscribe for more deep dives into military history, and share your thoughts in the comments below. What other flying tanks or unsung heroes of the air do you think deserve a closer look? The IL-2 Sturmovik, the flying tank of the Red Army, reminds us that victory is often forged not just through technological sophistication, but through sheer determination, mass production, and the unbreakable spirit of those who, against all odds, refuse to be defeated. It was a brutal machine for a brutal war, and its legacy, etched in steel and blood, will forever thunder across the annals of military history.